While everybody's enjoying the last couple days of summer, no one is talking about the major data that we received this week, and that data is inflation. Now, inflation is something that no one cares about until everybody cares about. And what I mean by that is no one cares about inflation until you actually feel it. So let's say if you go to the grocery store and you try to get a roll of toilet paper and it comes to $10 usually, but when this time you go to the grocery store, now it's $13. Now, you might think that $3 is not a big deal, but when every single item that you get from the grocery store is up 30%, then it is a huge deal. But this week, we finally got the inflation number, and it was a huge deal in markets. So first, on Tuesday, we received the CPI, which is the inflation gauge for people just like me and you at stores. And the expectation was 2.8%, and it came in at 2.7%. So it's showing that inflation for me and you is down a little bit. But that wasn't the end of the story. On Thursday, we received the PPI, and PPI is the producer price inflation gauge. And what that tells you is how much inflation are companies getting. And the expectation for these big companies' inflation was 2.5%. Well, the PPI came out and it came in at 3.3%. That is way hotter than the expectation, and the market reacted strongly off those numbers. Now the big question is, why is consumer inflation down, but the producer's inflation is going up? Well, it actually makes perfect sense with the landscape that we're in with tariffs. So again, you have to remember that all imports from different countries now are receiving tariffs. So in theory, it makes perfect sense while companies are getting this inflation gauge, but it hasn't got to us yet. Well, that's the thing. It will eventually get to the consumers, because now let's say if you owned a store like Walmart, what are you going to do now when all imports of items that you do not buy from the United States are 30% more? Well, naturally, you're going to push that cost to the consumer and now put a 30% up on prices at the store. So again, inflation is not hitting us right now, but now that it's hitting the companies at a higher amount, they're going to pass that inflation right to the consumer. So now this inflation topic is a real topic, because everybody's wondering, will we finally get rate cuts in September? Now let's roll it back in a little bit, because the markets are at all-time highs, but this inflation numbers is a very big deal. So let's see this week, will the market has a pullback or not? Again, this is the weekly market recap, and I'll see you soon. Peace.